It'll just be a second.
On my screen, it says we are streaming live now.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, Jerry.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman.
Well, this December 8th meeting of the CDA will please come to order.
On my screen, it's
Would you take roll call, please, Patrick?
Wayne Clark,
Yes.
Karen Gale,
Yes.
Don Emer,
Here.
Alderman Weigel,
Here.
Alderman Haas,
Here.
Chris Sogstead,
Here.
Jerry Motter.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. First item is to accept the minutes of the previous meeting. Can I have
So
a motion,
moved.
please?
So moved.
The second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes
Aye.
stand approved. First item to discuss. Resolution approving a letter of intent and agreement between the Mandel Group and the Community Development Authority of the City of West Dallas for Phase 2 of the market development south of National Avenue, SoNa. Mr. Siebel.
Mr. Chair, if we could read items 3 and 4, and then we're going to hold all those 3 into closed session at a later, after we finish the rest of the agenda.
You want to hold 3 and 4?
2, 3, and 4.
2, 3, and 4. All right. And we'll go to
I'm sorry, Patrick, did you want to talk in open session about those first 3 items?
No, we can go right to closed session on those. Sean, you want to add anything?
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, we're going to do a few open sessions on those. Then we'll go.
Yeah, we
We'll
could.
go to item 5 now. Resolution to consider approving amended and reassessed as articles of incorporation and bylaws for First Ring Industrial Redevelopment Enterprises Incorporated. Mr. Stevel.
Sean,
Yes.
which one are we doing here?
For 5.
Item 5.
Okay, we're amending the bylaws for First Ring Industrial Redevelopment Enterprise. The reason is to help it separate itself from the city. Eventually, we'll even separate the accounting. But the big changes are the original articles of incorporation. It was set up as a 501c3, which is a nonprofit. And after we got awarded our first allocation, it was determined by our attorneys that we were already tax exempt under Section 115 of the Internal Revenue Code. Because we're sponsored by the City of West Dallas, we have the same status as the city does in terms of tax exemption. And this just codifies that. The second part is to allow fire to appoint their own board members. This is something that was requested by the CDFI fund. And we try to do whatever the CDFI fund suggests is a good thing to do. However, it still retains the authority of the CDA to be able to name or remove members. So it's still there, the ultimate control. And it also clarifies that the City of West Dallas to the CDA is the controlling entity of fire. It also changes the registered office and agent from the City of West Dallas, the city address, to our attorney in Madison. And then the final change was upon dissolution of fire, all the profits go to. Are there any questions? Karen may remember this is a long time ago that we created this. She was originally appointed as a board member, and she determined that she may have a conflict of interest, so we had to take her off. It's been that long ago. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Are there any questions, Mr. Stevel?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Marty Weigel.
Go ahead, Marty.
John, those were
Alderman
the
Weigel.
only, that's the only substantive changes here to the fire management, I'll say?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
If there's no further questions, can I have a motion to accept the resolution?
I'll move approval.
This is
Second.
Karen, I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? If not, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Resolution passes. Item number 6, resolution to consider professional service contract with Ramboll in the amount of $4,900 to assist in preparing a FY 2021 US EPA brownfield grant application. Mr. Stevel.
Patrick,
Members of the authority, what we're doing here is something that have been successful in the past. We've written brownfield grants in partnership with Ramboll. This is to have their services put the necessary materials together to apply to the US EPA for various brownfield sites in our city, and we're trying to help reduce the public's cost by obtaining these grants. We've used grants like this to help redevelopment in the 6 Points, 84th and Greenfield, Yellow Freight site. So anytime we can leverage these grants to help attract also private investment, it's good to seek these alternative financial sources. Gladly answer any questions. We're planning to apply
Mr. Chair,
for
I have a
a
question.
$300,000 grant.
And
There's
Mr. Chair, I have a
questions, Patrick?
question. This is Kevin Haas.
Go ahead, Alderman Haas.
Thank you. And Patrick, the item on the bottom, 76th and Hayes, should that read 76th and Hicks?
Hicks.
Okay,
correct.
thank you. Because I used to live at 76th and Hayes and I wanted to know what I did. So thank you.
You have no pending liability that I'm aware of.
Mr. Chair, this is Don Niemer. I have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
Do these grants put in any encumbrances on the properties?
No.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? If not, can I have a motion to accept the resolution?
This is Alderman Weigel. I'll move approval of item number 7.
Thank
Which
you,
is
Alderman. Do we have a
36.
second? Do we have a second?
I second Haas.
Thank you, Alderman Haas. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Resolution passes. Item number 7, resolution to consider the submittal of FY 2021 US EPA Brownfield Community-Wide Assessment Grant Application for $300,000. Wait,
The one prior was for the consultant to help write. This one is the CDA saying proceed with submitting.
all
So
right.
moved.
Any further questions?
You need a second.
Second, I'll second Alderman Weigel.
Go ahead, Alderman Weigel.
I was just
Oh, you-
seconding.
I'm sorry, I thought you had a question. Sorry.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution passes. Item number 8, resolution to consider regional analysis implement of fair housing. Patrick.
Mr. Chairman, this is actually it's impediments, but this is a
Impediments, I'm
HUD.
sorry.
That's fine. This is a HUD requirement relative to the Community Development Block Grant and Home Program. And since the CDA operates as the housing authority, I'm bringing it to the CDA for approval. Now, it's in draft format. We're still fine tuning everything. There's multiple jurisdictions involved in this. It's really relative to the Federal Fair Housing Act to address issues and people trying to find affordable housing throughout the region, including West Dallas. We had a couple open meetings on this, and the conclusion is the report, and they identified a number of impediments to fair housing. Most of them are on a regional basis. I thought our community looked pretty good in position. And Sean, you can proceed to the next slide. One of the things to note, I mean, this is going to be an ongoing basis where boards and authorities around, Jefferson County, Waukesha, there's a line in here where they recommend inclusionary zoning. We're creating more affordable units. The study mentioned overcrowding housing. One of the high percentages for West Dallas for rental units was overcrowded housing. We actually scored, I shouldn't say scored, the percentage is high. We also had some higher levels of evictions. One of the unique things that made us look good is that we're an affordable place for people to live and also have access to transportation to work. That also was an important issue for our community, and how this chart actually shows that the blue represents the affordability, and we were one of the most affordable in terms of transportation to work. So one of the things that also continues to show is that as a community, we have lower household incomes. Sean's going quick here through my slides, but overall, the study is a requirement for HUD. They want to see this adopted by all the regional communities. And this is in the past, the last time we did this was 2008, and this is the updated study to that, and that's a requirement for HUD. Gladly answer any questions. We did submit on their legislator a copy of the draft report.
Any questions for Patrick?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Alderman Weigel.
Patrick, one quick question. Just remind me, what does HOME stand for?
Excuse me?
What does home, the HOME?
Yeah, so it's, I can't remember the acronym, but it's all capitals and all periods in between.
Yeah.
It's a federal home program to create affordable units. You might recall we use these funds, we invest sometimes we invested them in Beloit Road. We
Yeah,
invested
I see the acronym. I just Googled it. I couldn't find a quick answer. I'm just wondering if you knew what the HOME
yeah,
acronym
it's
stood
really
for.
to create affordable housing units.
No, I understand that. Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions for Patrick in regards to this item? If
So
not,
tonight, the board recommends as the Housing Authority to adopt the report, and like Wauwatosa and all the communities are doing. And like I said, we actually looked pretty good. Our zoning was in line with a past sewer pack study, and we adopted a number of years ago a fair housing ordinance as a city that's updated. Some communities around us still have very old fair housing ordinances.
all right. Thank you, Patrick. So the recommendation is to follow through with what you're doing. Is
No,
there
it's a
any other-
resolution to adopt. So we need a
a
motion in a
recommendation
second.
to adopt.
Yep.
So,
This is Karen. I'll move to adopt.
okay, do we have a second?
And this is Marty. I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor of adopting
Aye.
Aye.
the motion? Opposed? Motion adopted. Thank you, Patrick. Now I have a question for you. Do you want to go to a closed session, or do you want to do item E first?
Let's do item E first.
Okay. Item E considers relative report on redevelopment initiatives. Mr. Stevel.
I think Sean and I will do this. Sean, you'll take the first one here.
Just a brief update on National Avenue. The road is back open. The skate park reconstruction upgrade is done, and the skaters look quite happy. Judging by some of the videos being posted on Facebook and what you see out there. And then the bottom picture is the owner of Cream City Print Lounge, and we just wanted to, I guess, kind of give a little shout out to him. He's over on National Avenue there, and they got an order for make T-shirts for Kohl's, which is a big deal for a little shop like that. So just a business that we're proud of. Patrick, I'll let you take this.
Yeah, so each week or so, we receive updates on the UHS project. They are moving along. They're coming in with walls now, and there's bricks going up. It's advancing quickly. I think I have a picture just from an hour ago. If you go to the next slide, you can kind of see how fast this is advancing. This is, of course, on the corner of 68th and Mitchell, and very fast in terms of construction right now. So. This is on here just for information purposes. We had a meeting today with Scott Young and his bank to discuss the hotel financing. We are working through some challenges on that because of COVID and the hospitality industry. So we had I think a constructive meeting, and more will come on that in the future. On the left is the conceptual plan. Nope, go back one more, Sean. On the left here is the apartment buildings that are proposed and those C shapes, and then the park. One of the things that came out of a recent meeting with the alderman and the developer was the possibility of moving the housing north to Walker and 72nd Street, and maybe going higher density. Concluded today that that would work, and then with the park would move south adjacent to all the residential homes. That is something that would work, and we're looking forward to seeing those plans as they put that together. So the park would still be there, but they would move the housing north, maybe a 5-story building, and maybe townhomes along the park area. Essentially, the bottom building would go north, but be 5 stories, and then reduce the density of the second building. So that's really kind of the conceptual plans. So they're a little slower in terms of because of that change. So next slide is good.
Jerry, a question for Patrick.
Go ahead, Mr. Clark.
Thank you. Patrick, the challenges that are being faced by the hotel development, how far is that going to be putting us back?
Well, you know, the industry is seeing below average rentals at those places. And if anybody knows the future of how this COVID issue is going to be addressed, it could be putting us back in several months. I mean, hopefully we can work something out to advance this by year end. Otherwise, it might be next spring before construction would start.
And Patrick, if you could tell me, we're still talking about the same construction timeline. It was originally going to be the hotel first and then the housing, or is it? Or I mean, I'm glad to hear that he's amenable to moving the housing north. Is he? Well, we could talk on the side about that, but yeah, is it still going to be hotel then housing, or is he talking about putting the breaking ground on the housing first?
I think he's working along both channels, but most likely the hotel first. But again, it's the COVID crisis that we're in, impacting financing, and makes lenders just look at their portfolios and go, how are our current assets performing before they would put more future funds into such an investment. So we need a turnaround on that front to really help that discussion. But the multifamily, I think that's also next year.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You have anything else, Patrick, to add to these items, or?
Well, just to note that tomorrow there's a ribbon cutting tomorrow at the Gauge, and if anybody wants to attend this that is on the authority, please contact our office. They are having a private open house tomorrow by invitation, so please contact us on that. And I was just there, like I mentioned, John and I were just there a short time ago. If you go to the next slide, those were the renderings. And sorry for the artistic imagery here, but my camera captured some divine light coming in. And they're doing a photo shoot today for weddings, and it looks really nice on the inside. If you go to the next slide, I think I have another picture from inside. So really nice conversion of the space into a modern use. They have a nice lounge upstairs, bride and groom rooms. And I think they're up near 50 or 60 weddings booked at this facility already. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, wow.
And that's also going to be, as we brought up, we stood on the balcony. That's, if you go along 70th Street, they added balconies to the building, great facade, overlooking where the hotel would go. And as we discussed there, everybody who comes to a wedding out of town, they want to know where's the closest hotel. And it'd be great to get that advancing so that these weddings would have a close place, and then people will go to local places to eat and dine and while they're here in town.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I see you got 102nd and Lincoln up there, buddy.
So on 102nd and Lincoln, which is part of the Lincoln West TIF that we adopted for the hotel development, the Holiday Inn Express, and last week there was a ribbon cutting at that facility. The Sleep Wellness Institute currently occupies this building that's kind of hidden amongst all the nice trees. And I think this might have been a photography studio at one time. There's not many windows on the property, but it's 2.13 acres. The land value is around 770,000, and improvements are 1.8. So total value there is around 1.8, 1.9. There's a group of eye doctors that have interest in that site to put an ambulatory surgical center in. So this is cataract surgeries, laser surgery at this facility, and they inquired about TIF dollars to help with their investment. And I think on the next slide we have a value of that development. They would put around $9.9 million into this property, $2 million purchase and equipment and other improvements. They have reviewed their initial capital stacks and things like that. We haven't really underwritten it, underwritten it to the deal to see where the gap is, etc. They're saying that there's just increased costs for equipment. So it might be something we'll explore in terms of TIF, but they've inquired about TIF. The best thing about this is that there's 51 new jobs, brand new to this market. So these are people that would be, for us, it's not a net gain, it's a net gain. It's not someone moving laterally. These are brand new jobs that this facility would be creating. It has around a $1.5 million payroll. So it's something to evaluate on the face, but we just have to really understand the but-for reason there is a TIF request.
Patrick, you had preliminary discussions with developer about that property to the south to National Avenue, and what's happened to that large parcel of
a number of those parcels have changed ownership, which is good. The entertainment type of venue that we were pursuing, COVID has really impacted their industry, and they're not pursuing any sites right now. So I know the corner building closer to Lincoln sold, I think the second building, and then a developer that Sean and I and the mayor met with, F Street Group. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he recently purchased another building in that stretch. So we're starting to see new investment put into these properties, such as maybe here with the Sleep Wellness Institute, this eye doctor. And that's a significant change to that value on that property, to see $8 million put into something that hasn't seen an investment for a little while. Sean?
Highway 100, just a brief run through and some things happening out there. Festival Foods is hoping to begin construction later this month and be open in summer of 2021. You may have driven by the Aspen Dental site on Highway 100 in Cleveland. They've begun construction and hoping to open early part of 2021. Mission Barbecue construction's near completion, and they have a ribbon cutting scheduled for November 9th, so we're excited about that. And then you've probably seen some changes at the former Blaze Pizza site. Blazes have sort of been closing all over the country, and ours is converted to a Spectrum retail show. So you'll probably see some dot on that, as you may have noticed.
Thank you, Sean. Do you have any other ones, Patrick? Go ahead.
We continue to do testing at 116th and Morgan. I don't have a further update. I don't know, Sean, do you have any further information? Okay, we'll keep moving.
National Avenue corridor. We had an important building purchased by someone that's pursuing a brew pub. So we're very excited about that. It's the former Wisconsin State Bank building, and kind of an architectural gem. And they're actually in for permits to begin sort of remodeling the interior. So we're excited about that project. even in these sort of tough times, we're seeing a lot of movement, properties in a positive direction.
Thank you, Sean.
And one last one, Mr. Chairman. 6610 West Greenfield Avenue, the reunion. This continues to advance. I just was out there a short time ago, met with Chris Paul. They're laying the foundation there for the kitchen, upper left-hand corner. Outdoor volleyball courts are being put in, drainage, etc. And then he's bought, unfortunately, from the demise of an Applebee's, their whole kitchen line at auction. So he's able to pretty much fund his whole kitchen with other restaurant equipment locations, which is great. He's got all the equipment, some of it in storage. As you can see, some already in the building. He's been going to auctions and obtaining the necessary equipment. And he's also taking the lead on all the construction here. So I have to applaud Chris Paul, working not only managing his restaurant on 84th and Beloit, but he's running a big construction project here. And I really applaud his efforts and investment in our city.
That's it, Patrick? Do we have any more?
Yes,
Or?
Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Closed session. All right, we'll go into closed session. The agenda items for 2 to 4, the community development convened in closed session per to the provisions of section 19.85/1/E of the state statutes for the purpose of deliberating, investing in public funds whenever competitive bargaining reasons require a closed session. The committee may reconvene in open sessions after completion of the closed session and consider the balance of its agenda. Can I have a motion to go into closed session, please?
Move to go into closed session.
The second?
Second.
Thank you. You take we got to have a roll call vote for this, right, Patrick?
Yes. Wayne Clark,
Yes.
Karen Gale,
Aye.
Don Namer,
Yes.
Alderman Weigel,
Aye.
Alderman Haas,
Aye.
Jerry Motter,
Aye. Patrick, you have the floor.
Chris Sogstead,
Yes.